The dogs has rise from the death, Joe. We're back with the podcast, and first, we need to say something, don't we? What happened last week? We recorded the podcast, but something went wrong.
Yeah, we did actually record a podcast, guys. It was about an hour long.
Guys and girls, and girls, everyone.
Yeah, and
all the
trans as well. Better not forget them. Like there was Pride in Norwich. I should have remembered before I left. But we recorded an hour podcast, and it was probably our best yet. We put our heart and soul into it. But the audio
we talked
quality.
A lot about the PTO race. We had a massive bullshit buster Instagram post of the week, but I was quite skeptical because Joe was recording the podcast through his iPad because his mic was still in somewhere else in the UK. And I was saying, mate, we are a high quality podcast. We give knowledge to the people. And we can't deliver this shite.
No, we couldn't put it up. It had this horrible noise in the background. And basically, when I went to Pont last time in June, I forgot my laptop, my headphones, and my mic. The same one as this trusty one was here in Font. So the guy, Michael, who I was with, took it back to Cambridge, and I just hadn't been there. But I've met up with him now.
Are you going to better your life? Because you're letting people down.
I know.
We are letting people down. I've had so many messages. I've had people that felt lonely, depressive, had shit training. They couldn't get through it. It was just a mess. It was a mess, mate. And also, we've got the patrons. They support us. We
lost patrons. We lost patrons, didn't we? From
we did.
We lost patrons.
They were angry.
They thought we'd tricked them into getting them to sign up to the podcast, and then we stopped producing. You know, there's people that did that. I listened to a podcast on the way here, and some people do that. They have a legitimate business. They take money, and they do a legitimate business. This person in particular was doing it on the dark web. You know, the Silk Road.
Yeah,
she was selling drugs. All right, like it wasn't legitimate business, but she was selling drugs. She was delivering.
It was still legit business. Yeah, like the
legit.
Business
She was running. Yeah, the business model was legit. She was getting good reviews because you could rate it on there. And she was taking the money. The reviews were really good, so more people were buying stuff. And then all of a sudden, she takes all the money. She doesn't post the stuff out, and it goes on for about a month, 6-week period. But people think, oh well, she's legit. Her reviews are awesome. She took all the money and ran.
So if you're a patron and you're a question about the money, just send me a DM and I'll give you a little insight.
Yeah, we haven't done that to you. Don't worry.
Anyway, so we're collecting the money to go to Kona. We already went to Berlin, sub 7, get the content to watch you. And I can guarantee you, I'm putting Joe responsible for getting the content out here for 4 weeks. You're not getting away with this, mate. There's like the swim bike run we did today. There's just another session that you need to take on.
And I've even bought a camera though, haven't I?
And you bought a camera. Anyway, enough of that. So if you want to watch it, by the way, on YouTube, it's on YouTube, and we'll be back. And we're going to try and do some more here in Font Ramona that we're here for 4 weeks.
To be honest,
anyway.
Even if you don't really want to watch it on YouTube, just let it run on your phone because we could do with the views and the money.
We already made, so we've got our YouTube account monetized, Joe, and we already made from all the videos what we've got $18, and I'm going to take you to a shit coffee in Font Ramona for it.
Yeah, we'll get a picture of the shit coffee he buys me from our YouTube money. This time next year, though, we're going to be minted from it. We're going to have at least $100 in our back pocket.
Anyway, go on in. You've got a high, low?
I've got my low is not only did I have a 16.5 hour drive, I think it took me to get here about, or was it 16 hours? It took me, I left at 5 a.m. UK time and I got here at 9 p.m. what would have been UK time. Mm-hmm. So that's like, what's that? 16 hours. It took me door to door. I was hoping to be catching one up with Tom on the road, but Eurotunnel let me down. Had to wait like an hour and a half. Really annoying. And then, so I get rolled. I get here. I get last dibs on the room because Fabian, who, he was the real sneak, wasn't he?
He went off at 3:30 in the middle of the night.
But he had good tactics because what he did was he asked everyone what time you were supposed to be arriving. So we all told him. Yeah. And then he left an hour and a half earlier than what we all said we were arriving. He was like,
even if I get stuck in traffic, I'll be up ahead of everyone.
And he got stuck in traffic. Got here early, got first dibs on the room. Then Tom and
Thomas, we went in through the garage and I said, you just pick a room. Like, I don't really care. And it was all dark in the basement. It was all dark in here. And he said, I want to have a room with a view. And I said, I don't even care. The room I have has got no view.
It's lovely.
It's lovely. We're looking at a garden somewhere. It's like not even garden, like a hill.
Nice storage space.
It's got a shitload of storage.
Mine hasn't even got.
You've got a view, but you're lacking storage.
I'm lacking storage.
Is that your low?
That's my low. That's my low.
I want to share some of my cupboards with you.
Your what?
Cupboards. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That would be really nice. Yeah. Don't try my underwear on though. I know what you're like.
So that's the low. That's the only low. It's just your roommate.
I haven't really got many lows. I mean, the drive was all right. To be honest, 16 hours, you'd think it would be actually, one thing I was surprised about, which isn't really a low or a high, is that sea suck amount, because I got lent that and I was a bit dubious at first because it's literally just suction cups, isn't it? And they say check it every 4 hours, which makes you even more dubious because you're like, I tend to drive fairly fast and I've got to check it every 4 hours. Is my bike, am I just going to see it blow off down the motorway and I'm totally screwed? Like, I've just got 2 written off bikes. So I was a bit paranoid, but I checked it every time we stopped and it was like still holding strong. There was nothing we could do to adjust it. But then the last bit, you had the same experience. Guys in old beaten up French cars tearing it up through the roads.
Burn up.
So yeah, I got in a few burn ups of them, but I daren't go too quick around the corners because I was like,
the G-force might
rip it off. So I was like having to cruise around the corners and then try and put my foot down a bit afterwards. It was quite fun. But those guys, they're old Clios. They're probably like 15, 20 years old.
But I think they're like remapped and all that, because I was driving behind a Peugeot 106 and that thing was beasting it up the hill, mate.
Yeah, and I remember people having them when I first started to learn to drive, and they were slow as anything.
They were slow as anything.
Yeah, these guys
100%.
have done stuff to them.
100%. But that was all right.
They love their mods, don't they? They love their mods over here.
They do. Just like their coffee.
Yeah. If they put as much effort into coffee as they do mods on their cars, we would be in heaven, wouldn't we?
That would be the best place to be on earth. But high then? Little high?
My high is I didn't drown in the pool like last time. I think I remember last time in June speaking to you and saying that I was so smashed swimming in that 50-metre pool.
You put on a wetsuit.
It cracked me that I had to put on a wetsuit, and it was like a battle in my head as to, do I want to feel like I'm sinking and swimming like shit in the pool, or do I want to overheat and potentially screw myself over from overheating by swimming in a pool with a wetsuit on? And I was like, I would rather overheat and fuck myself than take that wetsuit off and need to get saved by a lifeguard. But today it didn't happen. I actually felt pretty good. I was hitting actually way fast times than last time when I was here, so it obviously shows that like doing some training works. And you were actually surprised by how much easier you were expecting it. I think all the horror stories made you think it was going to be so much worse, didn't they?
That's just a swim. Well, we'll get to that in a bit.
So you found form in the water? You found form?
No, let's not call it form. Low of the week, mate, for me. I've got some sort of hit by a bus last week. So I had a crash after like a bus almost hit me. How did this happen? So I was riding on a cycle path and there was a street that came from the left. There was a bus that came up and I was thinking, she doesn't see me. And she looked right at me. She was looking at the right, but she was not looking. You could see she was just doing it because probably the driving instructor told her to like, just look to the left and right, but she wasn't looking. So I was like, no, she's going. She doesn't see me. So I was like massively braking and screaming and I just got in front of it and managed to like dodge it. And then she stopped it. And I stopped my bike and I said, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you're looking to the right, but you can't see me. And she's like, oh yeah, I couldn't see. I'm sorry. So I said, yeah, sorry. I was a bit like,
Did she touch you? With that?
Well, no, just not really. But, I was a bit like, like
shaking up.
I was shaking. I was like adrenaline. I was like, phew. So I said, all right, yeah, sorry. I'm acting like this way. I just thought I was going to get hit by a bus. And I don't want to drive off like a cool dude. But then, because I braked so hard, my chain was off. So I got on the bike. I wanted to pedal, but my chain was off. So there wasn't any power.
So
and
you
I
went off.
stacked the bike in the middle of the street. And she was still in that van. She was like, you all right? You all right? So it was some sort of... And then I was driving on. I was like, stupid me. But yeah, some sort of a crack. I almost got hit by a bus. Like, she was looking, but not looking. It's scary when it happens because you might think, she saw me. And then you go on in. Boom.
Expect the unexpected.
Expect the unexpected. But I'll tell you a high, mate, and we can learn something from that. I've got this girl in The Hague. She's from Ireland. She's an absolute weapon.
Yeah.
She, she messaged me last December. She said, I want to do an Ironman. I've been drinking all winter and I want to do an Ironman. So she's been training pretty hard. Just started January. She's swimming pretty quick, like doing like 130s in the pool. Like, didn't do anything for months. But last week, she did a brick session and she got up at 4:30. No, she got up at 4. On the bike, she was at 4:30, did like almost a 2-hour bike ride with efforts, and then a 10K with 8K tempo off the bike, and she was done by 7.
Wow, so you're telling me that this girl messaged you on Tinder and you've somehow managed to persuade her into being a diehard triathlete?
It was on Instagram, but I was thinking, like, if you and me had the dedication of this age group with us working a full-time job, we'd be...
Christian Blumenfeld wouldn't have a chance.
No chance.
Wouldn't have a chance. We would
no chance.
bury him, like, wouldn't we? We would bury him.
Mate, would you be able to set an alarm at 4 a.m.? And I spoke to her afterwards. I said, what the hell? Are you in like Europe? Is the time correct? And she was like, yeah, I just wanted to get it done before work. And I'm thinking like, you need to get up at 4 a.m. and like...
I've set my alarm before races before and it hasn't woken me up and I've overslept and missed the race. That's a low, man. That is, but especially when you pay for your travel.
Like in a race, you've got the adrenaline. You're thinking like, I need to go because this is what I train for. But for a session like that, I'm thinking like Nighthawk. This is Nighthawk session.
That is a Nighthawk. That's the equivalent of you running at midnight, isn't it?
Yeah. She's going to race Poland this weekend, and she wants to qualify for Kona.
Age group life, mate. That's
age group life. But still, when I was an age grouper and I was working, I didn't really get up that early.
Do you know what my friend said as well? I don't know if it was you or my friend said that one of the quotes that we said from one of the last podcasts, he wants to turn into a t-shirt.
Yeah, I want to turn it into a t-shirt. Oh, so we said it in the last podcast that we didn't put up. It's the podcast we didn't put up. This was the quote. The quote comes from the one we did put up, and it was, a trained donkey can beat an untrained horse. Was it that?
A trained donkey can beat an untrained horse.
Yeah.
I think that would make a good one.
Yeah, a trained donkey can beat an untrained horse. And that is a good quote.
Yeah, and that brings us on to, what is the next bit?
Well, I think I've got another high, mate.
You've got another high? Man.
Yeah. I remember again.
What is it?
It's my passion for caravans. So everyone in like... internationally, we always think like Dutch people in their caravans, right?
Why did Dutch people have them? I thought it was more French people.
No, like, a shitload of Dutch people have caravans, and I always thought, well, my parents had a caravan business like years ago. We like my whole family, my granddad, and all that. We were all in like the caravan business.
So you like gypsies?
No, it's not gypsies.
Gypsies love their caravans.
Yeah, but they live in it. Like we sold all the parts for the caravans.
Do you know the boxer Tyson Fury?
Yeah.
They've come from caravans and stuff. You should hit them up if you do Bolton because they're based up that way. Like
we could do a collab.
Yeah, you could do a collab.
But anyway,
you could park next to them, mate. And
a couple of weeks ago, I was thinking, them caravans are actually like really nice. It's like riding hotel room. You could go to the best places in Europe. Literally park that thing up at a lake, at a campsite at a lake, have a big tent. You're always up in the nature. You could do running, biking, swimming.
What happens though? The only downside what I've got is if you go for like a poo and stuff like...
poo?
Yeah, or you go to the loo. Like
You've got a toilet in that thing, and you've got also these toilet buildings.
So you've got to like clean it somehow. Like
that'd
be disgusting.
But you need to clean the toilet in the house as well.
Yeah, but like not like where it all goes obviously into some kind of big tank, doesn't it, somewhere? So you've got to take that out, clean it. That'd be horrible. Like,
but you won't be covered in shit, mate. It's all like technique. It's not in the 1900s anymore. So like, basically, you just get
You're
that thing out.
You're going to be polluting the rivers and lakes of Holland, man.
Pollute the rivers. You don't dump it. There's like specific stuff for it. Anyway, I've got a passion for camping. Like I'm seeing the things going. I'm thinking like I could see myself next year going on a training camp with a caravan. So more of that later on. More of that, mate. You'll see me cruising around in a caravan. So last week we spoke a lot. Did we already say about the PTO race? And yeah,
we mentioned it, didn't we? Last week we went into a lot of detail.
Like, a lot of detail. I can't be asked.
We were just saying there was draft in there in the women's race. What else happened?
That all the people cramped up, and we find it very amazing that they all went from like K-Hall to like.
All when Gustav was catching them.
I know,
like Black Magic.
But also like all of them went into the K-Hall, managed to creep out and run like amazing run from Christian, like getting back out of that. But anyway, yeah. So we.
There's other podcasts that have gone over that today.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no point us now.
Yeah,
it's old news, isn't it? Like
it's very, very old news.
Old news doesn't make good news.
Before we're heading to the main subject of the week, we're going to talk about the training in Font Romeu, probably. Maybe you can learn something from it, maybe not.
They could learn something. We're quite educational people, I think.
We are. This is the podcast you'd listen to if you want to learn something.
If you want to get fit, you want to get fast, you want to listen to it. We helped Christian Blumenfeld. He's a regular listener, and we helped him to world championship success. I think Gustav has started listening to it. He's now winning PTO races, so there's a trend. Sam Laidlow, you had him on the show, 4th place at the PTO race.
I know.
We should also get our secret pro back on, dish the dirt on some things.
Yeah. We had a secret pro last week. So if there's a pro with like a voice memo, like with something on in the scene, we can talk about it.
Yeah, talk about that, or we could speak to our secret pro. Yeah, or if there's another secret pro, just
send it in, and we'll make the voice memo like sound like a robot.
Everything is anonymous when you send it to us. We will never name names. We will never disclose your identity.
But one thing
No matter how much they try and cancel us, we will not take you down.
One thing I did want to say is, Joe, last week I had an Instagram message from one of the followers, and he had a legit question.
For me?
Yeah. I said, do you want me to ask this to Joe on the podcast? He said, yes, because I want to know the qualification of the horse when you're allowed to neigh like a horse. So you're allowed to neigh like a horse when you're pushing 750 watts, right?
Basically, yeah, 744 watts.
1 horsepower equals 744 watts. He did 722 watts.
It's not good. It's not a neigh.
But he said, since I have dwarfism, would you guys accept this neigh worthy or do the same rules apply? He said, I need to know because I need to know if I need to push harder. My height is 152 centimeters, or just about 5 feet. I'm 123 pounds, which is 55.5 kilos.
Bloody hell.
And my FTP is 234 watts.
Flipping heck, that's nearly 5 watts a kilo. Good job he's not out in Fulton Road. He'd probably drop us, wouldn't he?
Yeah, he's a beast. But anyway, is he able to neigh when he's on Swift? And
Oh,
pushing
man,
that power
like,
on?
I'd love to say yeah, but like, I'm afraid it doesn't count.
But since he's got
I know, but
dwarfism,
one-
what about that? It's like a Shetland pony, one of the smaller ones.
Nah, 1 horsepower is 1 horsepower. It's not
But does
pony power.
the Shetland pony is probably like less strong.
It's not pony power, mate. It's horsepower. Like, I'm sorry. Like, you've got dwarfism. You've given it a good crack, but 1 horsepower is 1 horsepower, mate. Like,
But don't let the dwarfism let you down from pushing that 750 watts.
Haters going to hate, mate, but we're encouraging you. You nearly got there. You can push an extra 20 watts, and it will be all that much sweeter when you do.
I know. And when you do, send us a message.
Don't settle for the pony. Be the big horse.
And otherwise, you can always ask some pros for their overreading power meters.
Yeah, just ask Lionel Sanders. He said on one of his videos that he had an overreadable
Really?
power meter. Yeah, he said it on one of his videos. So like, ask him.
Ask that one. Can I borrow it for a sprint?
Yeah, just ask him if you can borrow it for a sprint. It'll probably like ching it like 900. You know, it'll be like one of them things that you get in the carnivals. You know, where you go to them or like the circus and you have to hit that mallet with the mallet, don't you? And it'll be like that. It'll be dinging when you hit over 900 watts, mate. Imagine how quick he'd go up a hill if he sprinted 900 watts at 55 kilos. Oh, God, it'd be a weapon, wouldn't he?
Burning rubber.
Yeah.
Burning rubber.
And he's probably aero because he's small.
Yeah, he's probably mega aero.
I'd love to know if this guy has a TT bike because them power numbers would probably be pretty quick, wouldn't they? Hilly TT, be aero as anything and pushing like decent power.
What if his FTP was like 450 watts?
Oh, God, you couldn't live him. It'd be nearly 9 watts a kilo, wouldn't it? Like, even if
He'd be like a bullet, wouldn't he?
Imagine if we had age group manager and you could get him up to 300 watts.
Yeah.
Could you imagine? Nearly 6 watts a kilo.
Yeah, that's like we'd send him up for the world tour just to get him ready for like an Ironman.
He could come and train with us then.
Yeah. Speaking of age group manager, do you think we should do?
Yeah, we definitely mentioned age group manager in some of our earlier episodes. Some of the new listeners.
The first episode,
quite a few it did. And age group manager was this theory that me and Tom had, where we want to have a competition. And I remember playing on Championship Manager, the old football managing game when I was younger, and I used to love it. You know, you get a team, you have to do their training and everything, and you get them to try and win the Premiership. Well, we want to take someone from League 2. We want to coach someone who's like puts about 10 hours a week in. They're not too serious. They've got the mentality where they want to train more, but they might have a few other things that come up. We want to take someone.
They also need to go to like the pub and all that. Like
yeah, or they're like, yeah, they're not like, they're not.
What if they would say like, hey Joe, I just did a run and I want to share you my glucose data with you. What does my
glucose monitor? If they're a glucose monitoring triathlete, then sorry, then they're not age group manager. They're probably going to have to sign up to. I don't know, Triathlon Tower Motive or something like that. That'll probably be more their kind of thing.
Do you think that app would connect to the glucose monitor?
Oh yeah, they're all scientific, all them. Like they all stay in the same circles.
What would your philosophy be then?
It's a cult. I saw someone today in Fulton Road. Me and Fabian were walking out the pool. I saw someone with a glucose monitor, and Fabian said he's swimming one. I said, man, that tells me he's a serious athlete. He's not going to be going to an after party. He's going to be drinking water. He's going to be in bed by 9 p.m. and he's going to be up training at 6 a.m. But age group manager is basically we want to train someone who enjoys life, lives life to the full. They might go windsurfing, I don't know, drink, bit of mixture of everything basically.
Would go to the club till 6 a.m. for example. I mean, if you're an age grouper, and then would do the session next day because that's character.
That's character.
That is character.
That's character, and we want to see how quick can we make them. We want to try and get 2 people of similar ability. Tom coaches one. I coach one.
But probably we won't do it right now, because what I think, if our patrons and all that would evolve a bit more, then we could use the to do like
We could
maybe
pick a
video. Like we could pick a patron. Yeah, maybe we could pick a patron.
And we could pick a patron. We could get a couple, like say we get 4 people, and you guys everyone can vote, and we'll put them on Instagram stories over time or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
We'll do an Instagram thing, and you guys can pick who we coach, and basically we end up having a head to head where my person takes on Tom's person at a particular race.
Exactly.
And we see who wins, who gets the spoils.
I don't think we should do it right now, because first we got Kona coming up.
We can't do it now, but we'll have to pick a race now for next year.
But I think at some point, if we got more patrons, we could do it and then do a video, because we also have got this idea of a video that we want to do one time.
Yeah.
Like the budget 70.3 race.
The budget 70.3 race is another thing we want to do. Tom, let them know, what is the budget 70.3? We need to do that this year, don't we, really?
Yeah, but we're doing Ironman Western Australia in December. Like, so where are you going to finish off?
Yeah, we wanted to do that, though. That would have been so cool to do it this year.
A
£600 budget.
So basically, we get a £600 budget, and we need to buy everything for it. Like the bike, the helmet. You can't get anything from sponsors.
Kit. You've got no kit, and you can't get anything from a sponsor. So
not from friends. You can't say like, all right, I'll buy your Specialized Shift TT for €10.
Everything you source has to be from unknown people, like who you don't know. No sponsor stuff.
Of a marketplace. And we want to document the thing on YouTube.
Yeah, we want
like
to
in stages, like a training and maybe some of the like that you would go out and buy that budget bike.
Yeah, if you want a bike computer, that comes out you €600. If you want a wetsuit, you got to pay €600. Or you could chance it, you know. You might think, I'm not going to buy a wetsuit because I can save that extra £30 and put it towards some better run shoes or like, you know, some clip-on TT bars.
Exactly.
So everything comes out of it. We go to a pro race and we see how fast can we go on £600. What can we do? What can we achieve? Can we do well? Can we scalp a pro?
And the interesting thing I would say for the viewer is what choices will you make with that budget?
Yeah.
Are you going to buy one disc wheel and that's it?
Oh, a disc wheel, that'd be nice if you could get like an
but
old
just
one.
that. You want to have a bike,
maybe you get
nothing.
one from like the 80s, you know, when like Le Monde and stuff like that, or 90s, you know, and you get one of them knockoff ones for £50.
Yeah.
A disc cover.
But I'd say, well, I'm not gonna share my tactics.
He's got his tactics.
I've got tactics. So that's the. But speaking about the patrons, for them that don't know, it's a website where you can support us with $5 a month, and we're going to use that money towards some of the videos that we did on YouTube, more content. So that patrons website link is in our bio.
And basically, the more money we get from patrons, the more cool stuff we can do, like make videos, because we need to get our mate Pepe, don't we, to do it?
Yeah.
And he's got a normal full-time job.
We need to pay for like the flights and Airbnbs.
Yeah.
And so it's like not, and then...
that's the only thing that's holding us back.
So we're not using it to make money. Like if you want to have some info, just send me a DM. I'll show you, mate. But anyway, yeah, so that Patreon, I think this month that we're out in Fund Romeu, we should do like a couple of, just throughout the week, just share some of our sessions and the highs and lows or something on that Patreon website. So we can do like, it's like an Instagram.
Oh, I had a couple of sauna battle stories as well that I got sent to me, but I haven't got them ready. So I'll save them for next week or something. I love a sauna battle story.
A good sauna battle. Can we do a sauna battle in Fund Romeu?
There is a sauna in Fund Romeu.
On an easy day here, I want to go to a spa.
The spa here is not great.
I'll drive an hour to get to an spa.
You want to drive to one? I thought you meant at the centre.
I'll drive to one.
So what's the next bit then? We're going to talk about 70.3 Ecuador or the Fittest old boys.
Let's start off with 70.3 Ecuador, because this was a race 2 weeks ago, and this
grinded your gears, didn't it? This got Tom really upset.
Not just my gears.
This got Tom upset.
Your gears went as well, because I had a DM from one of the dogs, and this dog said, "Hey, mate, have you seen what happened in 70.3 Ecuador?" And I was like, "I haven't really seen what happened. What happened?" And he was like, "It was a pro race, male and female. And apparently on the female pro race, there was only one female on the list."
Sounds like my kind of race. Like,
That
I could guarantee
is our
myself,
race.
I could make some decent money on that because I could just
We
cruise.
spoke about this last week. We thought, how does this happen? I mean, there's nothing about, like, that girl can't do anything about it. But Ironman
You thought Ironman should cancel it, didn't you?
I think, yeah, of course. You can't have a race with one, but it's not a race.
What about Ironman putting some... what about Ironman giving it to the top 6, even age groups? Didn't you say some age groups beat her?
Not sure,
All right,
not
good.
sure. But just you're the only pro in the race. It's a mega awkward swim start.
She only got
It's
three
like
PTO points for that because I saw it on the PTO
free
website.
PTO points.
3 PTO points. That's all she got for winning 7.3. There will not be a lower point scoring race for a win.
That is absolutely nuts. But anyway, what I thought is Ironman always got a deadline for pros for signing up, right?
Yeah.
Then you should say like, wow, is something wrong with the registration system? What do you mean? Well, we've got one pro. Did we miss some? Well, no, we didn't. Then
Ironman could have posted up on their Instagram. We have one pro registered for 70.3 Ecuador, prize money going down to 6th place. Do more people want to race? And then give them a shout out, you know.
Exactly, give them a shout out.
Because like you'd be thinking, if they said there's one male, I'd be thinking, Laura, do you fancy a trip to Ecuador? Because I could do the 70.3 there, get some coin.
Even you could do it. Just walk around the course and you get some coin.
And I could get some sponsors. Or I could have said to Laura, let's quickly sign you up for a pro license. We'll go and do Ecuador. You've got 8.5 hours to finish because they don't penalise people for finishing a certain amount of percent behind, do they?
Exactly.
And I could have said, Laura, if you finish second here, we can get a whole trip to Ecuador probably paid for, you know. Just battle through. Just get through.
You can't really say it's a professional sport if you're the only one racing. You can't say. I mean, there's nothing she can do about it. It's like, Ironman should have said, we can't let this race go ahead. We need to cancel it. We'll tell her 3 weeks up ahead. If she's got any cost towards it, we'll pay that. And then she can sign up to another race where we hopefully have a bigger field. But you can't flip and race.
Could you imagine a cycle race with one person? Like, it'd be terrible, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be a solo time.
But like,
that's like what everyone did in Corona, like a solo 5K. That's what it basically is.
But I saw the Commonwealth Games marathon as well this week, and there was only like literally like in the men's one, I don't know how many did the women's, but there was literally like 15 people on the start list in the Commonwealth Games marathon.
It's crazy.
Like, it's ridiculous. Like, there's such small fields. It was like made no sense.
Why is that?
I don't know, but like I could have done it.
I mean, for Ecuador, I can think it's like miles away, isn't it? For 70.3.
Yeah. I mean, if you're in North America, it's only pretty 4 hours, isn't it? 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah.
Like, people fly that in Europe, don't they?
Yeah.
Looking weird.
But anyway, for her, she's got a win. Win is a win. No one knows in 20 years.
I'd like to have a win on a 70.3.
Dude, I mean, if I could see some 70.3 races in Europe and I'd be the only one on the list, Mozzarella's going every one of them. I mean, just getting the cash.
Only one on the list and a downstream swim.
And a downstream swim, downhill bike, backwards jog. I don't mind. Anyway.
I wanted to tell you about the fittest old boys because like I've been training with this guy called Phil Hare and he's 67 years old and he's only been cycling for like 8 or 9 years and like so you'd think like some people that are really fit on the bike if they're that age would have been training for like 40 or 50 years, you know, done it all their life and they're just fit because they've just been doing it. This guy's only been doing it for like 8 years.
How old is he? 67?
67 years old.
67 years old.
Yeah, and he I was out on a ride with him the other day and like I did like tempo stuff with him like on like the Tuesday, and it was like fucking hot. Like, you know, it was like when we had the heat wave in England. So it was in the end of like a 3 hour ride, and we did like some 20-minute efforts, like at 335, 340 watts, something like that. And he was like hanging on, but then on one of the climbs, I upped it a bit because you know what it's like, you get pushed the climbs a bit harder, don't you? So I did that, and he got dropped a bit because he said he was like he couldn't take a drink because he didn't want to like take me down or didn't want to he thought he'd get dropped. So I was like, all right. Don't worry. And then like I went out with him on the Sunday. And on the Sunday, me and Nathan, like it was a lot cooler conditions. So he was hydrated. He was on top of his electrolytes and everything, weren't he? And on the way back, we'd been pushing it up every climb as well, actually. So every climb, I've been riding like 420 to like 450 watts, 460 watts. And they're like take about. Was it with or without the overeating power meter? I don't know what it does, but they take about 2.5 minutes to like 4 minutes, so they're not that long. They're only like that kind of length. But anyway, Phil wasn't that far behind, and I'm thinking flipping it. Like, firstly, A, he's going well, and B, he's probably going to have a heart attack because he's like 67 years old and he's like pouring with sweat and his heart's going high. He's like keeping up with Nathan, who's like, you know, training for like sub 9 hours, you know, at Almere. Yeah. That's what he wants to do. And I'm thinking, Jesus, like, and then anyway, I said to him, well, we'll do these climbs all hard. And then on the way back, we're going to do, you've done that bit from, from Holt. Yeah. On that like little bit undulating, bit twisty. Yeah, tempo bit. And I said to Nathan, we'll do 2-minute turns, I think, or something like that. We're doing 2 minutes each on the front, me and Nathan. Like, my target on the front, Nathan's on his TT bike, and like with disc wheel and everything, like
full on aero age grouper, just the one that takes it way too serious. That one,
yeah,
that would go on an easy ride, disc wheel, tri-spoke, aero helmet.
He does go on an aero. No, he doesn't use his aero helmet, but he uses a disc wheel now. He just got it on there.
Why does it do that?
I don't know, but it's better because it pushes you a bit more. So I don't mind. I quite like it.
Well, always when I see these people, I'm like,
I just think he's bad bike mechanics, to be honest, and he can't change it. Yeah. But we were doing 2-minute turns, and I was like, on the way back, I was like, I need to keep it over 400 watts, and then my recovery is like sitting behind him, and then he works hard, and you save quite a lot, don't you, sitting behind him?
Yeah.
So sitting behind him, I was only like 260, something like that, so it was decent recovery. And I was thinking we'll drop Phil because like we were pushing it fairly hard on the hills. He stayed the whole way. And I said to him...
And he overtook, and he
no, he didn't sprint. I would laugh if he sprint. But I said to him at the end...
Got up. He's like,
I said to him at the end of the ride, how hard was that on a scale of 1 to 10? Thinking he was going to say 8 or 9. He went, I don't know, about 6.
Really?
6. I said, and it made me think, is my power meter overreading? Like, is my power meter overreading? Because how can a 67-year-old find that? And he said about a 6 out of 10. Then it got me thinking, like, is he super fit? How fit are some of these 65 plus guys? Like, does anyone know someone who's over 65 that is an absolute weapon? Like, what is the fittest pensioner in the world? Like,
I don't know.
Because he's probably not the fittest pensioner in the world. But who is the fittest pensioner in the world? Like, how fit are they?
Yeah.
Like, what is this? Because I mean, there must be some incredible people that are like over 65.
Yeah.
We want to know. I want to know.
People 90 finishing Ironman, but I want to see some really.
I want to know, like, how.
If you know an absolute weapon, like a 2:17 marathoner that's 86 years old.
Yeah, or even anyway, someone that's like over 65 years old, ideally closer to 70,
or a 90-year-old bowler that can throw that ball at 100 k's an hour.
Yeah,
remember when you were doing like 20 miles an hour, like 100 k's.
We were doing like a bit of a chain on the way back, and like I've been with like pretty decent like normal people that are like and they've been dropped, and this guy's like 6 out of 10. And thinking, fucking my power meter's probably overreading. Maybe I was only doing 280 watts. Like,
that makes you think though that the people that you've dropped on rides are then less fit than a 67-year-old.
Yeah, he's a weapon, mate. And then he did 2 run races this weekend. He did one on Friday and one on Sunday. 5 mile on Friday, half marathon on Sunday.
All right.
And he swims. He's just got in swimming. He's going to be at a half Ironman near you soon. Almere, mate. I'd like to see him there next year.
Yeah, let's quickly do an update.
Battle of the Influencers. I'm going to have to do it now. I'm stepping in, mate.
Well, yeah, but it is no Battle of the Influencers. So there's a little. Let's do an update on our race schedule because people are like, "When are you going to race?"
I was going to get a trophy made for that as well.
A trophy
for the Battle of the Influencers.
Yeah. I want to do it. Scott Bivell's injured. Who else was going to do it?
But surely, if they can't make it to the start line, that's not your fault.
I know, but it's not a battle. It's like you're the only one on the line. Is it a battle? It's not. I asked Jan Frodeno. I asked Lionel Sanders. They didn't want to do a Battle of the Influencers. So in the end, because I have to go to Italy for charity the end of August, I was thinking if I need to go from Italy to then Ireland, it is quite a far drive, but I didn't mind. But then the national coach was like, "Hey, big hitter."
I've heard you're quite a big deal in triathlon.
No, originally I wanted to do Challenge Almere because it's like a home race and I've never done it. But there are only 6 people allowed, 6 Dutchies, as it's like a European championship.
But surely they couldn't have not put you in. There's not 5 ahead of you in Dutch, is there?
Well, he wanted me to do a half distance in the Netherlands for me to qualify for the full distance.
Would you say half distance? It's a kids race. I don't do them. It's not even the full deal. I only do full distance.
We had a disagreement on that. Like but it was. But anyway, yeah. Later on, we had like a chat. We got along, and he said, "Do you know what? I'm going to give you a chance to see what you've got in the tank." So I'm going Almere, mate.
I had a right battle in Almere when I was there last.
Yeah, but you won it. You won the European Championship.
Yeah, but I was in a battle, mate. Like, I don't know if I've mentioned the battle, but I was there with a Ukrainian. Like he was ragged. With them. Them old triathletes that you get. Ironman pros.
Yeah.
That have been chasing the sun for far too long. They look a bit battle weary, don't they?
Like you right now.
That. Probably give me 5 more years, and I'll probably start looking like one. But he was like a battle weary pro. I was on the bike. I managed to get off, I think, in like, first of all, on the bike, I had a massive low. If I was doing a podcast that week, it would have been the low of the week. Got out the swim, 2.5 minutes down, the full distance, thinking money's in the bank. What happens to me? Shit transition. Don't see the bike that's leading the group. So what do I go and do? I take a fucking wrong turn after 2Ks and end up losing 3.5 minutes, and I'm 6 minutes down, and I'm like, shit. I'm as far back as what I normally am now after the swim. This is absolutely shit. So anyway, grind my way up. I think I get off the bike in 3rd place. There might have been that Christian Hugenhaug.
Yeah.
I think it might have been him. I'm not 100% sure, but I think he was off the bike ahead of me. And then Evert Scheltinger leading the race. He was leading it, mate.
The top Dutch guy.
Yeah, so I ended up like chasing him down. I think I got into 2nd place. And all of a sudden, battle-weary Ukrainian catches me. Suddenly we're running neck and neck. And I'm like, shit, man. Like, I thought I was going to win this. And now I've been caught. And I've been getting so many 2nd places. I was like, I can't have this happen again. Thinking if he's already caught me, he's obviously running quicker than me. So I'm just going to have to stay with him. So I stayed with him. Now, I didn't look at the watch at all. But like afterwards, it's on Strava. Well, it was on Strava. I got that account now. But like, you could see the splits and everything. It's probably on my Training Peaks, but I could see the splits. Like they were like, sometimes we were doing like a 320, 330K, but then other times we'd be doing a 420K. You know, like it
why? But because you can feel the difference of speed.
Yeah, because he was surging to try and drop me.
Oh, right.
He just wanted to drop me. He didn't give a shit what pace we run. So he was putting in a really quick one. And all I was thinking was, all I'm going to do is just run next to him. I don't care, because I looked at him and I thought, I think I can take him in a sprint. You know, so my plan was to stay with him until 200 to go, 300 to go. And that was it. I was going to be gone, man. Like that was.
And was that what happened?
No, so we ended up running close. I was running really close to like agitate him. So like our arms were almost like shoulder to shoulder. And every aid station we got to.
This is the battle I had with Scott Bevell in South Africa when we do the walk run.
Yeah, it's exciting, isn't it?
Yeah,
and every aid station I got to, I went in front of him, got the drink first. Because he's in the back foot, isn't he? Mm-hmm. Like he's going to lose a second or two at every aid station, isn't he? Because he can't get a drink, but until I've got one, he doesn't know if what one I'm going to get. But then he would close up straight away, you know. And we ran side by side from about probably 7Ks in, because I think it was just on the 2nd lap when he caught me, to 34Ks, and literally neck and neck, not a meter between us really. Mm-hmm. And then
the chimp.
And then we get to an aid station about 33 kilometers in, 34Ks in, and he doesn't close up to me, and there's about 5 meters behind us. And it just stayed like that for about 10 seconds. And I thought, now's the time. I need to go. So I just put my head down. I banged it like, I don't know, sub 6 minute mile in, which, you know, towards that point, the Ironman's pretty quick, isn't it? You know. And then the guys from Almere, the organisers, came up to me about a K to a K and a half later. And they said, Joe, I'm from the organisation. I said, where is he? He said, he's about 20 seconds, something like that, you know, back. They said, the organisation said, if you go under 8 hours, we'll give you an extra €1,000. So I just put my head down, battled away. And then when I got towards the stadium, because I had one more lap after that, they're only 6Ks, aren't they? 6.5Ks laps, it's like 7 laps. I could hear the announcer saying, he's got 1 minute to go under 8 hours. And then like, I gave it everything. That's where that picture is, you know, me battling. I got in there with 20 seconds to go. And then when they transferred the money, the extra €1,000, they put sub 8 coffee machine, because I said I wasn't going to buy a coffee machine until I won my next race. That was what I said in 2014. I waited, and when I went out Weymouth, and I had to wait 3 more years until I did it. Literally, till I got the next one.
So I want to do Almere. I couldn't do it last year because it was also like a World Championships ITU, and
I like that race.
I didn't do the half, so I couldn't be in the full. But this year, he's put me up with the big stallions, the Dutch stallions. So Lil Mats is going to take it up the other big ones.
Really?
But you're going to go to Ireland then? Wales. I'm
going to go to Wales. I'm going to battle the influencers. I'm going to battle the hills there. The fat boy's going to see if he can get up the climbs. Like, the
good thing is, you can watch me race on a Saturday, and I can watch you race on a Sunday.
Oh, is yours on the Saturday?
Yeah, it's on the Saturday.
Maybe I could do both then.
Yeah. Just get the ferry back real quick.
Get a flight, night ferry.
You could do night ferry. Would he get into? No,
oh God! I forget a quick flight. Like
quick flight. Yeah.
Stage race, Ironman stage race. But no, Tom. Talking about climbs, we've got an absolute weapon out here with us, haven't we? He used to be a pro cyclist, Thomas Decker.
Yeah.
He's won Tour Romani before, won Torino Adriatico back in 2006, and we're going to be getting him on the podcast. He's got a very colourful past, hasn't he? He's
got a very, very colourful past because he's been caught doping. He's
been caught doping, and he's going to give us the lowdown on what it was like, what made him get into it, because he wasn't doping when he first got into it, but he'll tell us a lot more about that. But what made him change, what effects he had from it.
But also, and I've got shitloads of questions about this, like triathlon. What's the doping stuff like? I mean, when do they test? How do they test? What does he think about it? How does it compare to like cycling?
Yeah, we want to know. Well, yeah, he's going to have us little questions. He's already told us that he thinks that doping in triathlon would be probably rife and mega easy to get away with because you only race a few times a year, didn't he?
Yeah.
But yeah, he's just got some really good stories. He's keeping us entertained, isn't he?
Yeah, he's had a wild laugh after his triathlon career as well. You can Google it. It's all on there.
He's also got a book. We just want to give a little shout out to him for it as well. If you want to have a little Google or find out a bit more about him before he comes on, it's called The Descent. So check that out.
He says it's more edgy than what other book was it?
He said it's more edgy than Tyler Hamilton's and David Miller's because I told him that I'd read them. And he said, mine's a lot better. It goes into a lot more detail. So I bet it's probably
they didn't tell everything or something.
I thought they told a lot. Obviously,
he's a good laugh, isn't it?
He's a good laugh, and he's obviously like had some highs and some lows and stuff, and
some lows, some very high highs.
But he's on the straight and narrow. And if his life was a roller coaster, it'd be mega extreme in Vegas. Like it'd probably be going off the rails.
Talking about fun, Romeu, Joe. We arrived yesterday after a very, very long drive. Did the first day today. We did
altitude's easy. It's a myth, isn't it?
It's not easy for the mozzarella. I've told on the podcast that I hate altitude before. Numbers don't lie because I can see my heart rate data, mate. It is through the roof.
I'm thinking that chain gangs are going to be so much easier out here.
Your chain gang. We can compare all the data from Girona when we did the training. Oh, last week when I wasn't in the Netherlands. But today we did like a 2 hours and 15-minute ride.
What did you average power-wise and heart rate?
I didn't have power. It's got no battery. I need to based on feel, mate. Brett Sun style.
Brett
Feel.
Sato would love it. We contacted Sato because we were also thinking about going to St. Moritz. He wouldn't let us join the squad, would he? Wouldn't let us swim with them.
If you look at, for example, we went up 3 climbs at the end. If you look at the heart rate data, it's like four big efforts, isn't it?
So he did 4 climbs. Wouldn't really say they're big efforts. They were just like steady climbs, but his heart rate was going higher and higher. What did you average?
So the average was 142, which if I would do a road bike ride in the Netherlands, I need to ride like... So last week I did a 120k ride through a shitload of cities like Rotterdam, The Hague, twice, Delft and all that. So it's a mega slow loop. You would get mega annoyed because it's like 200 traffic lights. Average 35 k's an hour on the road bike. And
you must have been going through red lights or something.
Sometimes. My heart rate was like 136. So that's like a steady ride.
So this was basically like you were doing 2 hours
this
at
ride
37
today,
k's.
we did 2 hours and 15 minutes easy. And my average heart rate was 142.
What was the speed? It must have been at least 36 k's though. What was
27.9 k's an hour. But yeah, it's a bit of climb. But my heart rate went up to like 170.
170? That's really high for you.
Yeah.
Whew.
I know.
So
and
guys,
then on the run, we did like a run, which is a 10k easy run with 300 meters of climbing. Not sure if you can call that an easy run, but it was
I tried
supposed
to talk
be easy.
to him, and he said, "Give me a minute. I'm at threshold. This is towards the end, didn't you?" And I was like, "All right."
It was towards the end.
It was a steep climb. That was steep. It was about 15%, wasn't it?
Average 150. So that would be like 4 beats under Ironman heart rate. So do I struggle at altitude? Yes.
And there's also a bit of gamesmanship going on here because
They just said it's positive that I struggle so hard at altitude.
Yeah, well, I think you'll get some good gains once you get like acclimatized to it. Then when you go back to sea level, you're going to be flying. But one thing I would say is the Norwegians, they bloody junkyard dogged us, didn't they, today?
Did they?
Yeah, in the pool, the Norwegians.
I didn't.
They junkyard dogged me about 3 times, man.
Did they?
Yeah, I waved at one of them. It wasn't even Christian and Gustav.
Didn't do anything to.
They're psyching us out, man. They're playing with us.
You can't play someone at the wrong game. Can they?
The dog that barks loudest. The dog that, what did he say?
The dog that barks doesn't bite.
Dogs that bark don't bite. That was one of them. Or the dog that barks last barks the loudest.
I don't know. But
something like that.
Got to love the dogs. Anyway, yeah, with that in mind, with the training this week, I'll take it easy this week, the whole week, and see if it gets any lower. But on the swim today, you were saying, how do you feel? And I was thinking the swim is actually all right, but then here comes the paradox. Swim always feels shit. So I'm not sure whether at altitude...
That was your words to me. He said, well, I always swim shit, so I didn't really swim any shitter. It was like the same.
I'm not sure whether swimming feels worse at altitude or at sea level, because it's always shit.
You said you were swimming the same pace, didn't you? So you were like, it's not even any worse. It's not any worse. But
the times weren't worse. It didn't feel worse. It just always feels shit.
Yeah.
So I couldn't really make anything of it.
All right then. So
what's the plan for Fun Romeu this week?
I'll get stuck into it pretty much tomorrow onwards, won't we?
All right, we'll get stuck into it from tomorrow onwards. Before we go over to the Instagram post of the week.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, we've got a sneaky one. So if you want to see more of that, go over to the Patreons one. The link is in the bio. Joe, Instagram post of the week.
The Instagram post of the week is a guy who does an Ironman. He's obviously smashed it. He's been out there for quite a while, I think, because it's dark, isn't it, in the background?
It's pretty dark.
So if you can see the dark sky, your race may not have gone as you hope for, because you always want to finish before it gets dark.
Yeah, but maybe he planned for coming in the middle of the night, and then dark was at like 7, so he actually had a good race. You don't know.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. But ideally you want to get in before it's dark, don't you? No.
Ideally you want to get in at like 7 hours and 45 minutes. That would be the ideal situation.
He managed to not lose his engagement ring, otherwise that could have been an expensive race. And then he proposes to his missus. While he does it,
he gets on his knee.
Sciatica, mate. Sciatica, that's what it was.
What's that?
You know when you get nerve pain, your nerves in your back, your bone traps your nerve or something, on your back. I think he got that, and he got like a sciatic shock, and that was why he collapsed, and he looked like he was having a fit or something on the floor.
No, what I saw,
he wasn't having a fit though, but it was like sciatic pain, I think.
It looked like he was getting on his knee to propose, and all of a sudden he was cramping up so bad that the organization first had to massage his legs. Here's the little video. You can have a little look.
So he gets down. Oh no, it's not dark. It's not dark. I thought it was dark.
No.
So he's fast. That's because he's got him
he's got cramps. The organization is helping him. So, a couple of questions I've got.
But his missus looks in shock. She's never seen him.
She's like, oh shoot, I didn't want to get married, really. The question I've got is, if he had that ring with him, was it covered in gels and all that? And like Red Bull and pee, because
that'd be horrible, wouldn't it?
Here, you've got a little sneaky sticky ring.
Well, maybe
What do you think?
Well, it could have been possible, but he probably planned for that, so he brought an even bigger diamond.
Why would he have it in the special needs?
Oh, that's risky.
That is risky.
You don't get your special needs bags back, mate, if you leave it.
Because one of the volunteers is like, 2,680, you say. We can't find that one. You're like, flipping hell, I've got the engagement ring.
Yeah, I don't think he'd left it in that, because I think he must have.
So if you would have wanted to propose in an Ironman race, where would you put the thing then?
In my running shoe.
In your running shoe? You would get blisters, mate.
No, because then I'd get it out when I got on the right.
All right, you get it out, and then where would you get it?
Well, I just put it on my little finger or something.
On your little finger? Trying to marry yourself?
No, because I just keep it there and while I'm running along, and then I'd get it off at the end. But I'd leave it in my
But it
running
won't
shoe.
get stuck in gels, in pee, in
No, I wouldn't pee on my hand, would I?
Well, you don't pee on your hand?
No.
That's how you feel if you're still there. Am I still there?
My hand would be all right. Where would you leave it?
I don't know. Could be on your race belt.
On your race belt? Oh, that is so risky. People's things like strings come off, don't they? And their number starts flapping. If yours does that, you've just lost a bloody diamond ring, mate.
Yeah, could do. But all right, yeah, that's the Instagram post of the week. A little message of love. We'll be back next week, maybe with an extra episode this week for the Patreons.
We've probably got time this week, haven't we? We've got my dad out here who's helping us with food and stuff at the moment.
We've got Techno Vikings out
here who's going to do us some pacing.
We've got Thomas Decker, who only does the bike rides and then can chill out after that and support us on the ride.
Yeah.
Unlike the run.
That's it's going to be an awesome camp, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Me too, mate. All right, let's make the most of it. Thanks for listening, everyone. Thanks for the support. And, by the way, merchandise. About another 6 weeks. I hope I can get a stuffed Tacona. If
Why is it 6 weeks? Who are you waiting for?
Mate, is shipment getting it then all of a sudden after 4 weeks they're coming back with, is the design, is this what you want? And I'm thinking I thought everything was finalized. And when the design is finalized, it takes another 8 weeks. And then sometimes hey, the 8 weeks is 12 weeks. It just takes a long time.
So it's them messing us around.
It's messing around. Anyway, it's coming. Thanks, everyone. See you next week. Bye-bye.
See ya.